Today we're going to be talking about Wendel, North Carolina, some of the new construction that's available in the area, and just a little bit more about the area as a whole. So stick around.
All right, so Wendel is located to the east of Raleigh, and it's really not far. It's a half-hour drive, depending upon what part of Wendel you're in. Sometimes it's gonna be closer, 20-minute drive to downtown Raleigh. So super, super convenient. The price points in Wendel are also very attractive, which is what we've discussed a lot of today. But downtown Wendel, which is where we are right now, it's really nice. It's really quaint. They have a good coffee shop, which is where this came from. It's got a very similar feel to like a Fuquay or like the downtown Fuquay or downtown Varina. It's got a very similar feel to that. It's a very, there's a lot of folks down here, a lot of restaurants and shops down here for downtown of its size. And it's not one of those downtowns that's dying. It's definitely on the upswing.
For sure, yeah. I feel like a lot has been coming in, coffee shops, boutiques, restaurants, and it's just really cute.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we're going to talk about a few neighborhoods, and we're really going to be highlighting some of the new construction in Wendel, really for two reasons. One, as our previous new construction videos have said, it's just one of the easier ways to beat some of the interest rates. But two, as we'll talk about later in the video, there's just a ton of new construction in Wendel. And when I was planning out this video, my thought was to skip Wendell Falls because we have a video specifically on Wendell Falls. But that feels odd because it's such a big player in Wendel. You really can't talk about Wendel without Wendell Falls, which is why it's our first neighborhood, which is where we are right now. So Wendell Falls, I mean, it's just a massive, massive neighborhood. And it's the most expensive neighborhood we're gonna be talking about today.
Yep. Averages in the neighborhood are in the low fives. You know, those are for single family. There's some townhome opportunities that are gonna be less expensive than that, but just for the sake of this conversation, all of our pricing today is gonna be based on single family homes. So pricing in here is in the low fives, which for Wendel is higher than the average, but I think you get a lot for your money in Wendell Falls. You do not get land for your money at all. Wendell Falls lots are very, very small. If you get a 1/10 of an acre, you're like on a big lot for some of these homes. You know, some are bigger than that, but in general, we're kind of looking at things under a 1/10 of an acre. So you're not going to have a big yard, but I think the amount of amenity access and green space in this neighborhood does help make up for that. Like right behind us, there's a pond with a walking trail. There's trails all throughout, pocket parks all throughout. Some neighborhoods like claim that they have trails and walking parks, and it's like a sidewalk and one bench, you know, like this is actually usable stuff, you know, like there's a lot of art, like sculpture art throughout in the pocket parks. It just has a really neat vibe and culture to it that really can't be matched anywhere else. It's a very unique neighborhood. The pool and like clubhouse area has a cafe in it, which is just really neat. It's just different.
It is,
and it just feels special.
As far as new construction, Homes by Dickerson is a builder here, Garmin's a builder, Brookfield Residential is building another section within the neighborhood. And so there's a lot of options when it comes to new construction. There's also resale here, and Wendell Falls is an old enough neighborhood that there's a substantial amount of resale, and it really dominates the resale market in Wendell as well. But for today's purposes, we're just highlighting the new construction aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure. And there are more builders than what Zach even mentioned. There's just a lot going on here. And like you said, something kind of cool about it, since there is an older side to Wendell, because Wendell Falls, it really started like back in like 2019. It was kind of getting off the ground. It might have been like more like 2018, but 2019 we really started seeing more and more people move out here. So there are a lot of phases of the neighborhood that feel very established and complete. So if you want to be in new construction, but you don't want everything to feel like a total construction zone or the amenities to not be ready yet, Wendell Falls is going to be a good option because the amenities, the major amenities are done. You know, as they build more phases, I think the next phase is going to have an additional pool. So, you know, if you're on that very new phase, that part might feel more like a construction zone. But in general, I think you have a good mix here.
Absolutely. All right, up next is McKenzie Meadows. This is a Syntex community. So Syntex is associated with Pulte. I think they're owned by Pulte. So if you see Pulte in association with this, that is why. But this neighborhood, the price points here are the most affordable that we'll be talking about today,
Yeah.
mid to high threes.
Right, which is like unheard of for new construction.
Yeah,
That's
it's really,
single
it's
family.
really
That's
incredible.
the single family average. There's also cheaper townhomes in the development.
Exactly. And so distance-wise, this pulls you out a little bit further, but not significant. So you're still, you're like half an hour essentially to downtown Raleigh. So it's still not a bad distance.
Yeah, no, it's really not bad at all for the money that you're saving compared to being in a different, further out suburb of Raleigh. I think this is still closer into Raleigh than some of the other suburbs would be, and you get a brand new product, which is pretty cool for under $400, which is crazy affordable compared to what else is out there.
Exactly, and it's really cool. So the amenity section is like in the middle of the neighborhood, which I really like. Typically, maybe it's at the end or some kind of random location, or maybe at the beginning. But here it's kind of like, it's almost like the town square. It's like the pool and the sand volleyball court and the playground and the dog park and the field. Like it's really neat. It's like the central location for the neighborhood. So
there's like a little cabana with bathrooms. And there's actually parking for everything. So it's just really nice, and the equipment at the playground is nice. So I can see it being something that no matter where you live within the neighborhood, you could actually walk there if you wanted to, instead of having to like drive to the front or something. Especially when you have really little kids, It sounds lazy when you say you don't want to walk to the pool, but once you're dragging toddlers around, you're like, please get me there as fast as possible away from traffic. So I like that you could just like easily walk over there if you wanted to. But it's definitely a good option, like Zach mentioned, a little bit further out than the other two, but still relatively close to what everything you're going to need in town.
Absolutely.
So we are going to be talking about Anderson Farm. So Anderson Farm is a new build neighborhood by D.R. Horton, is building some single family homes in here. It's kind of in the earlier stages. I don't think anybody's moved in yet in this neighborhood. I think these are all spec homes.
Yeah, it doesn't
so
look
far.
like it. Actually, it looks like there might be one person.
Maybe, one soul lives here right now. But kind of on the early stages, which is always nice, because a lot of times with pricing, what will happen is, a couple homes will sell and then they'll raise the price each time a couple sells. So if you're like, I want to get the lowest pricing in a new neighborhood, like coming in at the beginning is definitely a good way to go for sure.
It is, yeah. Average price point in this neighborhood is low fours, so like under 410 right now. As far as location goes, it's a little bit east of Wendell Falls, kind of put it in perspective of where it is. But this neighborhood is going to have a pool, it's going to have trails, so really nice amenities. It's just a good example of a new construction community in Wendell that is really affordable.
Yeah, and with it being so close to Wendell Falls, you have the cool thing about Wendell Falls is you can still access all of the like commercial space that's kind of come from that area, so you still get all the benefits, and you can't you're not quite as close, but it's only like a 5-minute drive from here to that area, so you have all the grocery stores, doctor's offices, restaurants, all of that just right down the road, which is very convenient.
Exactly.
So in Wendell, kind of our average price point as a whole, and this is including the new construction we talked about, but also resale for the area, is in the low 400s. So definitely a lot lower than what you're going to find in Raleigh, where you're looking more in like the 5s and 6s. So you could save a lot of money by simply driving 20 minutes. So you can definitely save a lot of money and still have that close proximity to Raleigh. Honestly, a lot of stuff like Wendell Falls only being 20 minutes from like North Hills is closer to North Hills than some Raleigh addresses might be to North Hills. So you might actually have a shorter drive than depending on which part of Raleigh you live in. So, you could actually be closer to a lot of stuff Raleigh offers living in Wendell Falls than if you had a Raleigh living address. So it would be kind of interesting to note, but for sure it's a really cool area. It's definitely growing a lot. So much new construction here. It's about 78% new construction, which is on the market active
Very
today.
similar to Fuquay. It's just like miniature, like the inventory levels are significantly smaller here than they are in Fuquay, but that percentage is very similar.
Right, it's around 70% in Fuquay too this year. So yeah, really interesting how that is. And then even more interesting, Wendell Falls is such a large neighborhood that of that 78%, 40% of it is from Wendell Falls. So when you think about it as a whole, probably like 60% of the homes on the market in Wendell are probably in Wendell Falls.
So
like it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's a random number. It's girl math.
Pull out random numbers.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a lot of homes in Wendell Falls. And if you look at the population from the census last year in Wendell was only like around 6,000 people, and Wendell Falls, when it's done, is going to have 4,000 homes. So I can let you do more math on that, Zach. What's the math? Shoot us out some quick stats.
Nope, I'm good. I'm good. That's a lot. I'll just say it's a lot.
A lot of the population of Wendell is going to end up living in Wendell Falls, but because Wendell Falls coming and kind of establishing more commercial space here, it has just kind of caused a ripple effect of a lot of other new development. So I think we'll continue to see a lot more new construction in the years to come in Wendell.
Absolutely. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. I'm Zach. This is my beautiful wife, Cindy. Feel free to reach out to us at the contact info below. You can also find us on our website. You can find us on Instagram at Honeycutt Realtors, at the Honeycutt Realtors, right? Normally you say that, so I don't even know what it is.
He doesn't know our Instagram.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we will see y'all next time. Hold on, I might sneeze. I might sneeze. Woo, it's so bright. All right, up next we're talking about up next is McKenzie.
Hold on, I was like,
Cindy.
I was staring up at the helicopter.